So you're making a move, and there's two cities or two areas that have a lot of similarities and a lot of distinct differences. Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the pros and the cons and talk about all the distinctive differences, the cost of living, and exactly what's driving those markets. And yes, I am talking about Phoenix, Arizona compared to Las Vegas, Nevada. So if you need help making your move, then stay tuned. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jesse Dow with the Real Agent Now Group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And we do videos of what it's like to eat, sleep, play, drink, and buy and sell real estate right here in Phoenix, Arizona. So if this is your first time to our channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap that little bell so you're notified each and every time we drop a new video. And honestly, we are getting people reaching out to us dozens of times a week, days, nights, weekends, and we absolutely love it. So if you want to get a hold of us, you got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back when making a move to Phoenix, Arizona. All right, so in this video, like I mentioned before, you're thinking about either moving to Phoenix, Arizona or Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're thinking right now, man, these are both two desert towns. What could be different? Well, I'm gonna tell you, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been to Las Vegas numerous of times. It's actually only about 4 hours north of Phoenix, and I can tell you that there are a lot of differences, but a clear distinction is Phoenix is 1,000 square miles. Las Vegas, guess what? It's only 150 square miles. So Phoenix is about 6 times bigger in geographical size, but the population is also substantially different. The population in Las Vegas is 660,000, where the population in Phoenix proper is 1.66 million. It's the 5th largest city in America. When you talk about total metro size though, Phoenix comes in at a whopping 5 million people. They actually just became the 10th largest metro and bumped off Boston to be that 10th largest metro city. So Las Vegas is really just a single city. You know, it does have one or two other smaller cities around it, but Phoenix has lots of cities surrounding it and lots of suburbs. I'm talking about Scottsdale, Peoria, Goodyear, Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert, Queen Creek, Tempe, Sun City, Sunset West, Litchfield Park, and the list goes on. I mean, there are so many cities. So without further ado, we're going to get into these differences on the scalable version. That means that the US baseline is 100. Anything above 100 means it's more. Anything less means it's cheaper. So let's get into this. The first one up is going to be your utility costs. So the utilities in Phoenix are at 102. Las Vegas, they're 103. So very similar. And the reason that I believe that they're similar is because they both have very similar climates, and they both have what they call the equal pay system. So when you call your utility company, that's going to be your gas, electric, cooling, and any sort of heating and cooling source, and just tell them, hey, I want to get put on this equal pay system. And what they do is they look at the previous history and they project your billing out based on that. And at the end of that billing cycle, they either send you a credit, or if you owe more, they actually wrap it into the next billing cycle payment. So, but seeing that the utilities are at, basically almost the US average, I'm pretty satisfied with that. And I don't think living here costs any more or less than it did when I lived in the Northwest. It all equals out. And most houses do have multiple air conditioners and they're super energy efficient now. So they pretty much everything have all those kinks worked out. There are ways to cut costs, especially in the hot sun. You can get tinted glass in your house. You can get better insulation, different roofing, different floors. The list really goes on about what you can do to become more energy efficient to get those costs down. So the grocery cost is kind of distinctive. In Phoenix, it's 97, where in Las Vegas, it's at 102. And there's not much that really goes into talking about groceries. I mean, groceries are brought in from distribution centers. I will say that the availability and the selections are a lot different in the desert versus what I was used to in the Northwest. The selections are very staple driven. So it's going to be like the big manufacturers. So if you're from big cities that don't have a lot of selections, it's going to be nothing different than what you're used to. Otherwise, where I was from up in the Northwest, with a lot of local produced foods, whether it was produce, meats, cheeses, dairy, even boxed macaroni and cheese, whatever the list goes on. I mean, there was local everything, and they really pushed it hard to support. But down here, I do appreciate that the costs are going to be a little bit less. In Las Vegas, I might think that the cost is a little bit higher too, because everything is imported into Las Vegas. You know, down here, you actually still see a lot of farms, and there's so many grocery stores. Everyone is very competitive, and there's different types of grocery stores too. Like if there's Fry's, there might be a Fry's Signature in the more higher scale neighborhoods, or if there's AJ's, that's a higher end Basha's. So Las Vegas has the same thing. They have different stores at different levels, but I think the competition is less greater up in Las Vegas, which could cause the price to go up. But like I said, it was really both close to that baseline number, so I wouldn't really worry that much about the groceries. But if it is something that's going to be a big difference in your life, Phoenix is going to be the place for you. So looking at the transportation number, you're going to think that these numbers are crazy, but they totally make sense. So in Las Vegas, they're actually at a 129 and Phoenix is a 118. So you're going to be thinking, man, that sounds like a lot of money. And what's that number actually based on? Because you might be thinking like, oh, the cars are more expensive, gas might be more expensive. But really what that number is based on is interesting. It's based on gas, insurance, maintenance, and mass transit. What it doesn't take into consideration is the cost of the car, taxes when you actually pay for the car, not gas taxes, registration, and licensing fees. So that 129 in Las Vegas actually makes sense because guess what? There's no state income tax there, so there's a heavy gas tax. Also, so many people drive cars because they're not walkable cities and the mass transit is very, very minimal. So more people drive. That means that you're spending more money on gas and more money on car maintenance, which makes sense for both Phoenix and Las Vegas. Phoenix does not have the gas tax because it does have the state income tax. So that's what the discrepancy is in that number, but also why the costs are substantially higher. Actually, that cost of living number, 25% of that is actually made up of the transportation costs, which is crazy to me. So moving into healthcare, this is another one that is identical. They are both at a 92. So healthcare costs are based on a couple of things. One, it's what is 1 day in a hospital cost. Two, what is the cost of a one doctor visit? What is the cost of teeth cleaning and all your other general routine doctor visit? This doesn't include surgeries or anything that's a real specialty item. So at a 92, you can expect that the cost is going to be a lot less than the national average. And the one thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of medical providers here and a lot of places have a cash pay setup where it's a big discount. So that's why I'm guessing the cost is down substantially is because I'm sure a lot of people just pay cash out of pocket for their visits. Since the population has a pretty big influx in snowbirds, I'm sure a lot of people come down here and take care of their healthcare, do their routine checkups and things like that while they're down here. So let's talk about the median house price. So the median price of a home in America today is $231,200. So this takes into consideration houses in Alabama, New York City, Los Angeles, the list goes on. We all know that we're probably not going to get a lot for $232,000. But the median price in Phoenix is $239,000, and in Las Vegas, it's $249,000. So what this does is it tells us that the prices of homes in Las Vegas are a little bit more expensive. The housing prices are going up substantially in Las Vegas and in Phoenix. During COVID especially, the inventory is so low, it really creates a real competitive environment. So that's why it really matters who you work with, because a real estate like myself and my business partner, Cheryl, is we're working with agents 24/7 to make sure we're putting ourselves in the best position to make sure we get your offer accepted, because a lot of these homes have multiple offer situations, and inside of Phoenix, it's a lot different market than Las Vegas or Portland, Oregon. So you have to know how to negotiate those offers to put yourself in a great scenario to get that home. I will say that every market is different when it comes to pricing. In Phoenix, every single neighborhood in every single area and city is actually, they all have mixed communities. So what we need to do is really understand what your lifestyle is, and then we can build your housing around that. Every part of Phoenix Metro has something for everybody. And yes, there are very affordable homes. I was out in Goodyear last week. There were homes starting out in brand new construction. You can get something beautiful from $300,000 to $400,000. But you go up to Scottsdale and it's going to be a little bit of a different situation. Same thing goes in Las Vegas. Depending on where you are in that area, it's going to value your money a lot differently. It's also another reason why it's so important to work with someone that's a local specialist that understands the entire market, not someone that just focuses on one specific neighborhood. And that's very important, especially when you're relocating from an outside area and you know nothing about these cities. So that wraps up the cost of living. The miscellaneous pretty much pulls in everything else, whether that's going out to dinner, clothing costs, pet costs, and that all indexes it right at 100, which is equal to what the rest of America has on a national scale. So that's really cool to know. But let's talk about the weather. Obviously, they both have very deserty climate, but as far as the index goes, they both rank at a 7.3 for comfort. So the way that they measure comfort is on a scale from 1 to 10. The higher the number, the better. And what they look for is the average amount of days that are in the comfort zone, which is between 70 and 89 degrees. So based on that scale, both markets ranked at a 7.3 out of 10 for being in that comfort zone. I will say that both climates are very similar. The temperature in the summer is going to be very hot. The average temperature for June, July, and August is 104 for both cities. In Phoenix and Las Vegas, it was hit mid 100 and teens. So many days up into that 110 to 115 mark. And anything below 104 to me, because the climate is so dry, does not affect me whatsoever. It took me about a week or two to get acclimated to the temperature here, but then it felt amazing. You know, being 104 outside, wearing shorts and polo just seemed like a normal work day to me. But then September through May timeframe is going to be amazing weather. I'm talking 70s, 80s, 90s through all those months. And yes, it can get down into the 40s and it can rain occasionally, but it's not going to last for very long. But other than that, I would say it's extremely comfortable weather and it's going to be very similar in that department in both cities. So let's talk about jobs and taxes. First things first, the taxes, because taxes are actually what is a big driver to companies moving to these states. So the state income tax for Arizona is at 4.2%. Las Vegas, Nevada, and this is where they win hands down, is at 0%. This is a huge reason why a lot of people move to Las Vegas, because they don't want to pay that state income tax, and I don't blame you. That saves you a lot of money. In Arizona, though, it is November 2020, and they just passed a bill, Measure 208, and that's going to raise anyone that makes over $250,000 as a single occupancy household or $500,000 as a double occupancy household up to 3.8% additional taxes. And that's only on the money that you earn over those thresholds. So I think this is going to be a big blow to a lot of people that make that money, because Arizona, Phoenix specifically, like Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Biltmore, Arcadia, and a bunch of other markets, they have a lot of high earning people that live in these communities. But when you look at sales tax, Phoenix is at an 8.6 and Las Vegas is at an 8.3, so very similar there. That's one thing that I don't really like, is that sales tax. I came from Oregon where there was no sales tax. I would rather pay sales tax than state income tax, because state income tax obviously is based on your salary and what you earn. Sales tax is based on what you spend. The median household income in Phoenix, Arizona is at $46,800 versus Las Vegas at $50,903. The US median is at $53,400. So yes, both of them are slightly underneath the average. And the reason why, if you look at Las Vegas specifically, so actually 20% of the jobs in Las Vegas are the accommodation and food industry, followed by retail, which is actually 12% of the jobs, followed by healthcare. And if you look at Phoenix, their number one industry is going to be healthcare, followed by manufacturing, followed by construction. So these jobs typically aren't super high paying jobs, but you can tell that construction and manufacturing are booming in Phoenix. They got so many plants here, whether it's Amazon, Goodyear, there's a bunch of Intels here, Boeing has a plant here, Anderson Windows has a manufacturing plant here, and the list goes on. You know, Las Vegas is starting to look very attractive to a lot of businesses. So I can imagine that you'll see that number increase over the years. The projected job growth rate for both markets are very, very strong for the course of the next 10 years. Phoenix is actually at a 48.2% job growth rate over the next 10 years, and Las Vegas is actually at a 39.02, where the rest of America is at 33.51. Like I said, Arizona and Phoenix is just a hotbed for people moving their companies down here. There is so much land. It is spread open. It's wide. The freeway systems are amazing. And it's just so easy to get around. And a lot of people like living down here for that reason specifically. But speaking of the land being wide open, the commute times on average for both markets, both Phoenix and Las Vegas, Phoenix was at 25.4 minutes per commute one way, and Las Vegas was at 26.4. The interesting thing is almost 80% of people in both cities say that they drive to work by themselves. These are not mass transit cities. Almost 10% said they commute through carpool. About 5% say they walk, bike, or take mass transit. The rest of the people work from home. Obviously, that number's probably shifted immensely now since COVID hit, but neither city is built for mass transit, and the mass transit is very, very sporadic. These are driving cities. So let's talk about education a little bit and talk about what you can expect coming here for the kiddos. Phoenix, Arizona spends about $9,059 per child on education each year, whereas Las Vegas spends $8,868 per kid. Phoenix just passed that bill, 208, that's actually going to dedicate a lot of money to the schools here. There's a tremendous amount of charter schools and private schools in Phoenix, same with Las Vegas. So it kind of just depends what your needs are, and then you can pick the school out. The average class size in Phoenix is 19 kids per teacher. Las Vegas is 20.9. And the graduation rate in Phoenix is at 89.6, and Las Vegas it is 85.3. So that's what we have for education. Now let's talk about lifestyle and entertainment. Both of these cities have a lot of things to do. When you look at major sporting events, Las Vegas has the new football team. They also have pro hockey, and they have a lot of entertainment on the strip in all their music venues. So if you want to go see a show, concert, they always have things going on. With COVID in effect, it's very limited. So it's kind of lost its luster for the time being. But when you look at Phoenix, what does Phoenix have to offer? Well, they have all major league sporting teams. They have spring baseball. They have Barrett-Jackson, which is one of the most famous car shows in the world. They got the Waste Management Open, the Fiesta Bowl. But if you look up north, you can go up towards Flagstaff, Pine Top, and you're going to have some amazing outdoor adventures, whether it's going hiking up in the mountains, fishing, camping, and lots of beautiful greenery. It just isn't all desert. In Las Vegas, yeah, you're going to have the Hoover Dam and a lot of outdoor, whether it's ATV, dirt bike riding out in the desert. You get all that same stuff down here in Phoenix as well. At the end of the day, it's all going to be about your lifestyle and what each city has to offer. I relocated to Phoenix, Arizona, and I wish that I would have had something like this to see a true depiction of what both markets are like. And we do so many vlogs of what it's like to eat, sleep, play, and live in all these different markets, and we absolutely love it. So if you want to get a hold of us and talk real estate, talk about relocating, well, you got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Day, nights, weekends, we got your back when making a move to Phoenix, Arizona. And until next time, we'll catch you later.